Emma from New York City Guitar School with the lick of the month. Today we're going to be checking out a Hendrix lick from Castles Made of Sand. It's at the very end of the intro to Castles Made of Sand. I just played it about 4 times. He only does it once. And one thing to note before we jump into the actual lick is that the recording of this song is in E flat. His guitar is tuned a half step down. So the strings would be E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and then E flat again. I'm tuned to standard right now, but if you want to play along to the recording, you should try to tune down half a step just so that it doesn't sound really dissonant and strange. Okay, so let's jump right into the beginning of this lick. So it starts on a G major chord, and there's 2 different ways we can play this chord. So we can either do the way I was doing it, which actually uses my thumb to play the 3rd fret of the 6th string. And that can be kind of tricky if you've never sort of wrapped your thumb around to play that string. It's not the easiest thing to do at first. So if you don't feel like doing that, we can just play a regular bar chord. The thumb thing is something Hendrix did kind of a lot, and so did guitarists like Richie Havens. But they all have kind of like longer fingers, so it might be a little bit easier. So let's talk about the thumb way first, and then I'll show you the bar chord way. With the thumb, we're going to wrap it around and sort of play almost with the side of your thumb. Press down that 3rd fret of the 6th string. And then we're going to have this major chord here, going from string 4 to string 1. And it's just like an F major chord shape, but up on the 3rd string. So I've got my 1st finger, barring the 1st and 2nd string of the 3rd fret. Then I've got my 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And then I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. And then my thumb comes around. And the first 2 notes you're going to play, you're going to go. So I played 6th string, and then 4th string through 1st string. So let's just loop that a couple times. Alright, so the other way to do it is just with a regular bar chord. The only thing with this way, the reason I don't like to play it this way always, is because it's easy to accidentally hit the 5th string in there, and he doesn't use the 5th string. But if you're careful to avoid it, it's fine to do it this way. So we would just go. So same strings as before, and you're just going to play it once. Alright. So now I'll play the next little bit and I'll explain what I did right afterwards. So we're going to go. So what I did there is called a hammer-on. I took my 1st finger and I put it in the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And then I hammered on to the 5th fret with my 3rd finger. So, and the key to a hammer-on is really to just pin that string down to the fret like as quickly and with as much strength as you can. If you don't use enough like force, it's going to sound just going to deaden the note. So you want to really get it. So it's going to go. All right. Next, we're going to do a little barring on the 3rd fret. So we're going to go. What I did there, I took my 1st finger and I'm barring the 4th string and the 3rd string at the 3rd fret. And I pick only those strings. So I pick down, up. Alright, down, up. So all together, now we've got. Okay? Then right after this comes a slide that we're going to use our 3rd finger to do. And it looks like this. So if you'll notice, my 3rd finger is right in position for that slide. And it just goes from the 5th fret of the 5th string to the 7th fret. With just 1 down pick. So let's try that whole thing. So. Now the next step is going to be it's going to feel kind of familiar because you did a similar thing in the 3rd fret. We're going to end up barring the same strings, the 4th string and the 3rd string, just in the 5th fret this time. So I'll play everything we've done so far plus this new little step. So I'm barring 1st finger and the 5th fret on the 4th string and the 3rd string. And I just play 1 down pick instead of 2 like we did before. Okay? So we got. Now right after this, we're going to use our 2nd finger, which we haven't used too much yet. And you're going to play the 6th fret of the 6th string. And you're going to give that a tiny bit of a bend. Not a full bend, just like a tiny bit. So I'll show you what that sounds like. And right after that, you're going to go back to that barred 1st finger and play it once again. So that's the lick 1 time through. I'm going to play the whole thing. I'll count in if you want to play along with me. And then we'll talk about what he does the 2nd time through. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he repeats the lick, and he plays it almost in the exact same way, except for 1 slight variation, which happens when you bar the 5th fret. Now, on the 2nd time through, instead of only playing that barred part once, he plays it twice, and he goes down, up, just like you do in the 3rd fret. So I'm going to play the lick from the 2nd time through, so you can hear that little variation, and then we'll try the whole thing. So 2nd time. So let's try the whole thing. I'll count in again if you want to play with me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I resolved to a G chord there. Technically he goes straight into the verse right after that, which is an F chord. But if we're playing just that lick in itself, it's kind of nice to resolve to a G. And that's the lick of the month. Thanks for watching and have fun practicing.